Welcome to the greenapi channel. In this video, we will cover part of the integration process with WhatsApp, specifically the process of building and running a webhook server in C++ using greenapi. The webhook server is needed to receive and process notifications, such as recording them in your database or making a request to another microservice. First, let's go to the greenapi SDK page. The webhook server receives incoming webhooks, validates them, and passes them to the user-defined notification processing function. To install the webhook server on your system, you need CMake, client Git, and the MCVC compiler for Windows, or GCC for Linux. CMake and Git must be available in the system's path or bash environment paths. Go to the repository, the link is available in the description below the video, and download it via Git clone. For a successful build, the system requires the useradapter.cpp file located in the source directory. If you are using the library for the first time, simply rename the example file useradapter.cpp by removing the underscore. Run the build installation script for Linux or buildpad for Windows. After building the project, the executable server file and the JSON schemas configuration file will be in the accessible build.bin directory. Configure the webhook in the server if necessary. Specify the port on which the server will run. The default port is 5000. The authorization token is webhook token, which is specified in the instance settings in your personal account if you are using authorization. Specify the webhook URL. In your instance parameters, indicate the logging method in the configuration. Note that by default, logging settings are disabled and only errors are written to the console. For local execution, navigate to the build.bin directory and run the exe file. The server will be opened on the port specified in the configuration file, defaulting to 5000. You can test the server using a Postman collection. To do this, download and open the pre-prepared Postman collection in advance. Specify the address where the requests with webhooks should be sent, and start the collection. You will receive all sent notifications in the console. Now let's take a closer look at how the webhook server works. The incoming webhook is validated according to the JSON schemas, which are located in the JSON schema directory, along with the executable file. After validation, the webhook is passed to the user-defined processing function. Each type of webhook has its own processing function. The adapter for the user is located in the file useradapter.cpp in the source directory. In this file, you can write your own logic for processing incoming webhooks. User-defined functions return the presence of an error. If false is returned, the server will respond to the request with an HTTP status of 200 OK. Functions return true if an error occurred in the user function while executing the code. For example, the database or an external microservice is unavailable. This way, notifications won't be lost. User functions accept a response structure object. This structure stores the body of the incoming request, JSON webhook, validation status, and error description if validation was not performed. A more detailed description of the structure and its interaction can be found in the examples and documentation on the greenapi website. You can refer to the fields of the JSON objects you receive and use them. In this video, we covered the setup, build, and deployment of a webhook server in C++ using greenapi. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to contact greenapi support.